Yes, my people, welcome back to another episode of Where's My Podcast. And today we're joined by another special guest. We're joined by Benjamin Kyei, the founder of Gosse Au Coeur.
Yo.
Did I get there?
Yeah, that's you saying, bro?
My guy,
Oh,
man.
man.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
Oh, bro, my pleasure.
Thanks so much. We've had a nice, good chat off camera.
For real.
Obviously, you lot wouldn't have heard, but I was saying to you off camera that from like your Instagram aesthetic, I expected you to be like just kind of, very. But you're proper energetic in that, man.
You're
like
mellow,
yeah. But
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I know we're going to have a good conversation. We're going to be able to bounce off of each other. So
Appreciate
thanks for coming, bro. I'm proper excited, man.
Pleasure's mine as always,
Cool.
man.
Love, bro. So at the beginning of every conversation, I basically just describe why or share why you, the guest, sit in the chair, innit? And you know what, Benjamin, yeah? Your thing's an interesting one because I feel like I may have seen you before the podcast was even a thing. So I doubt you would have seen, but when we first started Where's My TV, we had like... we made like documentaries about up and coming brands, innit? Okay. And when I first came across your brand, that's what my head kind of drew me to. I thought, I would love to work with this guy on something like that, innit? So basically kind of tell your story in that way, innit? Yeah. And the reason why your brand stood out to me so much was because it was so simple, but there was something about it that stood out so much, bro. And I couldn't put a finger on why, bro. So I followed it from, I don't know if it was like your archive collection or something like that, but it was just the basics, the white tees with the, and I was just like, bro, this is just so wavy, bro. And I followed it from there. And then the piece that really got me, I'm not sure what collection this was part of, but it was that black hoodie with the orange GAC on it. And then you had the thing on the back. I said, yo, what's this? It was like nothing I'd ever seen before. And them times, I kind of had not like an obsession, but I had like one orange little, one of my friends would laugh at this because he always makes fun of me. I had like one orange side bag from Zara. I'm like, yo, if I can get this hoodie, I'm wearing that jumper, yo, it's a shutdown, isn't it? So from there, I was just endeared to your brand. And literally, bro, since then, I've been following your journey. I've seen your development in terms of your design aesthetic, the whole aesthetic of the brand, even your own aesthetic from finding your personal page and whatnot. So I'm just mad excited to chat to you, bro, because I got a lot of questions.
Man, that's dope, bro. You've definitely like from the archive made for the archive collection, bro. It's crazy. No,
I was watching, bro. I was watching. But yeah. So at the beginning, every conversation is always going to be the same question. So like, where's your background? Where did you come from? What was it like growing up? Take it away.
So again, Benjamin, born in London, East London. But moved to like more Essex, East London, Essex. I've always been on the eastern side of London, Greater London. Background, both parents are from Ghana. I'm Ghanaian.
Black star in the building.
Come on. Wish you'd done better in the World Cup.
That's a cover for another day.
But Black star, that's I wrote that on my chest. I'm a Ghanaian. So yeah, bro, like studied, went to university. Always been like, just a fashion guy, not like the fashion guy, but being a fashion
What do you say?
guy.
What do you mean when you say that though? Because it's a very subjective term. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you say a fashion guy, what does that mean for Benjamin?
Like, you know what? I would. You can say like, oh, he was the music guy, or he was the art guy. For me, it was just like he was just the FIFA guy, bro. Like, the guy that used to get. For me,
that's
it's
rash.
Like, the FIFA guy, yeah. Say no more. Yeah, for me, it was just like, I guess for even what my parents told me from when I was young to know, not even paying attention to it. It was just like I cared about clothes, bro. Like I used to play wrestling games, WWE, Shut Your Mouth, WWE, Here Comes the Pain, bro. I used to play them games to create wrestlers with their outfits. Like when you got the game, it's like, oh, I don't know, think of a wrestler, Rey Mysterio or something. He's got one piece of like one kit on the thing. I used to create the other things, and I just loved the certain wrestlers I liked as well. Jeff Hardy. Wrestling's like a big part of my background, in it, like just where I learned a lot of stuff from like attires and the way people were represented by clothes and stuff. So yeah, fashion is something I paid attention to, fashion and clothes. So,
but you kind of never, did you ever know why that was the case? Or you was too young to even think about it in that way?
Yeah, too young. Because even like, bro, football, I've always been a football person. Like the players I like the most are the guys that look the best on the pitch. Not even skills wise, but bro, when Nani and Ronaldo had the white socks and that, bro, I just used to like them. I'm a Messi guy though. Like,
yeah, to put it out there.
I'm a Messi guy. I've been a Messi guy, but I used to like Ronaldo's drip in it, and I just pay attention to those things where other people will care about attributes and he's got the most goals and stuff like. So yeah, I just maybe not even fashion. Maybe just a clothes guy. I just love clothes. I just love clothes and maybe a bit too much, but that's just the thing.
So
About me.
you're on. Would you say it was just a clothes thing? It was more like you're an aesthetics guy. So when you were growing up, let's say you saw, I don't know, like a nice bit of furniture or something like that. Did those things appeal to you, or was it like strictly fashion type vibes?
It was. I think it was like clothing and accessories. Okay. You know, but yeah, clothing, accessories. But then other stuff that come with that. As a kid, it was toys. It'll be like, oh, this guy or this kid had this toy and he looked cool like this, and I would try to recreate it. So, but in that sense, it's like, oh, I remember when I was growing up, I was just like recreating myself by like taking bits from other people. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's how I was building my own personality. I was trying things out. I'd be like, oh, Jeff Hardy wears some baggy things here, and Ronaldo has white socks, so I'll try and mix them all up. I'll just be trying to do a lot, fam. Yeah. And that was as a kid, and my mom used to say that she couldn't dress me, bro, because I'll just have my own opinion. Like, nah, you can't. I felt like maybe I was like a little Kanye or something. Like, you can't. Don't put me in this. Don't make me do that. But anyway, that's just the way I was in it. So clothes have always been like a big thing for me. But then without me realizing it, is that when I started looking back. It actually came back from me looking back, and I wanted to understand why I'm where I am today. Like, why am I in fashion? So I started having conversations with my mum, and I'm like, you don't know the stress you gave me as a kid when it came to dressing and that. She used to pull out the archives. The first collection is called Made from the Archives, because my parents are sly hoarders. Like,
all Ghanaians
are hoarders, but they have like the archives in it. So it was like, that to me was like, this piece here is the first, and I know it'll be put somewhere as the archive. That's where it came from. Sick way to think. Yeah, so that's where the first collection, and it has nothing to do with what the sentiment of the brand is. This piece is going to be made for this thing from one point. So that's where it came on. And
so how obviously speaking about your style and whatnot, how did that start to manifest when you started becoming I don't know, like a young adult where you could dress yourself? Like, what was your style like? And like, I'll say sixth form times where we all had a bit of money from side jobs and shit.
Bro, that one is when my parents would just say, this guy's gone crazy. Because, bro, like, it was, I would say I was one of the first early adopters at the time with like skinny jeans. Okay. I remember the time it was also
skinny jeans don't go down well in Ghanaian household.
Oh, they don't, bro. Skinny jeans in a Ghanaian household, bro. You're just I don't know, bro. But anyway, but the skinny jeans, I remember there was a point where everyone was changing the laces. Yeah, used to get the fat laces and stuff like that. I've always paid attention to like, I wanna get that, or I see it. I'm like, I have older cousins who are like, I have also been like, I'll say like, I've admired them for their fashion sense. Like, I used to still drip from my older cousins, bro. Like, yo, bro, give me that jacket. Like, you know what I'm saying? They used to pass clothes down to me. Because I guess in my house I'd have an older brother and younger sister. I was the one that was so keen on fashion. So, and then like I guess in each of my cousins' houses, there's always that one person who's like keen on drip. Even my uncles, that you could tell there's one that's like, this one was a drip.
You're the fly one, yeah.
You're the fly one, bro. Like comes with his fedora or something. Like look at the African parties and that. But it's just been that's how my personal style, because I didn't have my own money to like try things, and whether or not my parents agreed with it or not, it's like, you know what. It's my own style. Conflict, of course, because why are you wearing skinny jeans? Why are you doing this? Why is there a chain on your jeans? But even today, the ripped jeans. The ripped jeans. Yeah, bro. The ripped jeans in my household. Wow, are you homeless?
They love that one.
Bro, my things were extreme, bro. Rips all the way down, bro. Like, it was just mad, didn't it? But it allowed me to just experiment with like my drip, and I could see something and be like, I had my own money, and I was like, oh, I can get what I want in it and just try it out. And like, respectfully to my parents, I was like, Mom, you know what? I'm the fashion. I love fashion in it. Like,
this is me. You just gotta accept it.
They just ignored it at point. They always comment, but there's nothing they can do about it, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna leave this house.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have that stuff on. Exactly. So yeah.
So do you know what, Benjamin? Speaking about like parents' influence and stuff like that. Obviously, I know you didn't study fashion or anything like that. Yeah. So this is interesting that we're speaking about this now, because recently I've been having this conversation with more people. Like, it's almost as if I was doing a presentation the other day, and as I was talking, it just came to me, like, I feel like, even for myself, I've always kind of cared about fashion, quote unquote. Like, when I was younger, me and Gable tried to start a brand. It was too meaty though. Oh my days, we was like 14, had no idea. It was just print a t-shirt, screen print, get the man in it, take pictures. You know how it goes, innit?
Well,
but
bro.
Fashion, like, we were just doing that, but even at them points, I didn't realize that fashion was like a passion of mine. Almost because as we were growing up, coming from the backgrounds we came from and whatnot, our parents wanted us to get like a secure career naturally. So they kind of push you down that, look, you have to go to this university and study law, I don't know, banking, or be a doctor or something like that. So because of that, even being able to study fashion or the fact studying fashion was a thing didn't even cross my mind ever. And it's only later on in life where I became a man and I could make my own decisions, where I started to clock, hold on a minute, like, damn, I care about fashion and I can do something within fashion.
Of course.
So when it came to you deciding what you wanted to study in uni and stuff, not to say you knew whether you wanted to be a designer at that point, but like, did you think about fashion being a career or anything like that?
You know what is the crazy, and I feel like what's actually crazy about this, I don't actually have I throw it back to even secondary school. My parents, which, and if I say this, is that it's unheard of. My parents were trying to push me to study art.
Is it?
Ghanaian parents pushing their kid to study art.
Are you sure?
Yeah, bro, I said no. I said no. I said, you know what? My reason was I can't study art because I'd heard that they were writing essays about drawings. All I wanted to do was draw. I said, you know what? I can't make this thing sound so serious. I'm gonna fall out of love with it. So I didn't. But my parents were pushing it because they saw that within me. They saw like, you know, I loved art. I used to get like, I wasn't like an amazing drawer or sketcher or whatever, but I used to recreate cartoons. I used to write my own comics, draw my own comics, and create my own books using my own art and stuff. I still got them to this day, bro.
In the archives?
Yeah, in the archives, bro. The t-shirts are there as well. Bro. It's like, you know, my parents really encouraged me to study art, and I wasn't on it because I couldn't see it with myself. I just thought, oh, is this something that's a passion? Even how like things started for me, everything's just been passionate. So, no, fashion wasn't seen as an option for me, as like I always wanted to start a business. That was one thing I've always had. Like in school, I used to sell. Like they knew me, bro. In school, I used to sell chicken wraps. Me and my brother.
Chicken wraps. That's a
bro.
first. More time it's the Mentos and the Kit Kats.
Nah, bro. I had chicken. I had the canteen man coming out screaming, saying we're losing big money. Bro, it was peak, fam. I was St. Edwards between 2008 and whenever I was 10, 12, bro. I was about me and my brother. Like it's crazy. So us man were like proper shutting on, or I say shutting, was selling up. Was selling chicken wraps and. It was crazy. So we've always had that business acumen. Like me and my family come from like a business. Like, you know, there's people in my family that run businesses. My granddad used to run like a poultry farm in Ghana. So that business is in the blood, innit? But fashion wasn't something that I probably looked at and said that I'm gonna pursue a career in this, because it was just a passion and I didn't really see it as that. But yeah, then later on, I guess that's what happened. Yeah.
So I'm really happy you said that. You know, Benjamin, the fact that you showed us that there is parents out there, like African parents anyway, that will push their child to study something that they can really see they're good at, even though that, I don't know, that career path doesn't necessarily have like a set in stone job, if that makes sense. Because as I said, they want us to have the security and whatnot. So I like hearing that your parents like, you know what, Benjamin is sick at art. Go study art. Do you know what I mean? So eventually you did go to uni. What did you study at uni?
Studied international business.
Okay. Makes sense.
As an undergrad, business again. And that was also because international business covered all areas. I didn't know, again, you know, I just wanted to learn about business. But then went to also study a master's in digital design and branding. So that's when I moved to more design and I had more focus and understanding of what I wanted to do. So yeah.
For what you do, that's those two degrees together must make you very well-rounded in what you're doing.
Yeah. Because, bro, like the digital design stuff, well, now, I was even saying this to someone the other day, like, when I used to when I was a kid, I used to sketch and do art and all that. But now I feel like I do modern art, and for me, that is graphic design on computers, Photoshop, Illustrator, and all of that. I do app design and stuff like that. So to me, that's like modern art. It's like beforehand, it was, you know, pen and paper gives you a level of freedom, and I still try to do that now and again, even like some of my designs. But I feel like on a daily, that's what I'm doing. So I'm still doing art to a certain extent, but just in a new form,
in a different way. Yeah. So when did like I want to start a brand start coming into your head? Because I'm sure being the fashion guy, like people, not say I'm this crazy fashion guy, but the amount of people that said, no, Jay, I can't wait for you to start your brand. And that's not part of my intentions at all, innit? So like, I'm sure people have been saying something similar to you.
Yeah.
But like, when did it become, you know, I'm going to do it?
So it's mad. So Gosse Au Coeur is actually my first brand, bro. Like,
no way,
I had a brand with two of my best friends. We had a brand called Code Nation, but we started off with just selling hats. It was CXDE Nation. We started to sell hats, and that was when I was in uni. Started off in the summer of first year of uni, and then it didn't last. And it lasted until probably like 2017. So there was a crossover between when I started Gosse Au Coeur and when Code Nation was around, because us three, like when I say my best friends, I've known one of them for 20 plus years. I've known the other one since I was in year 6. So like these are we went to uni, secondary school, business.
You all went uni together?
All went uni together.
Which uni?
We all went Leicester. Oh, actually, one of them went Cov, but he was always with us in Leicester. But
Naturally,
basically, he just stayed.
I was in the
Leicester.
Midlands as well.
No,
No,
so you know what, it's
no,
like, innit?
yeah.
So he was always just in Leicester, bro. So yeah, like we always said that, you know what, one day we'll start a business together, and we also believed in, okay, cool, we understand business, but we need to do something that we're passionate about. And my group of friends, like there's probably about 8 of us, 8 or 9, I can't remember the number, 8 to say 10 of us. We've been known for, oh yeah, these are the guys that fly, innit? Like, no, like we like to put that stuff on.
You know how to put it on.
You like to put it on. We love it, innit? So obviously there's different tiers. There's guys that care about it more. Like I'm probably the one that cares about it the most.
Yeah.
But and actually cares about it the most. But we all care into a certain level. So we realized that was our passion. So we want to start something, you know, in fashion. I found that a bit quirky, but yeah, you know, that's what it was. So we started Code Nation, but then we were also in uni, and we realized that you know, we had to focus on our studies. So we done it for about a year, but it was incognito. The brand was like everything. Code Nation is like everyone has their own code. So it's like whether that's from your PIN code, genetic code. So it's like it's very individual in the message. But then yeah, you know, our focus wasn't fully on there as you need for a starting business. So kind of fizzled out, but we took a lot of lessons. We lost a lot of money because we didn't like dealing with manufacturers and stuff like that. Is a lesson for how old are you in second year of uni?
You're
18, 19,
yeah.
19 years old. For someone to start that, like something that we're always proud of. But yeah, it was a big lesson for us. And then that led to me kind of just like, yeah, you know what? Out of the 3 of us, I'm more passionate about fashion. We all love business. So it led to me starting Gosse Au Coeur. And I literally started, I remember one day I was in my room, bro, in uni, sitting there for hours saying, I want to start a business. And bro, like, yeah, so it started. So I guess that whole thing of me started at the start of uni. But then me starting Gosse Au Coeur started in like second year of uni. I remember it was probably around Feb time, around Valentine's, and then I completely like made it in April of 2017. I said, yeah.
Before we get into how you conceptualized Gosse Au Coeur,
Yeah.
what sort of things did you learn from starting Code Nation? And like, when you obviously were starting it and whatnot, you had to also like learn yourself to make it happen.
Yeah.
But like, where did you even start? Was it like YouTube, just straight Google searches? How do I start a brand? Where do I find screen printers?
So, bro, it was like at that time. So what we were doing was just hats. So I remember at that point I only had a cracked version of Photoshop, and I had a Dell mashup laptop, so it would like work sometimes. So bro, I designed. Remember Paint, Microsoft Paint?
Yeah, you designed it.
I designed Paint, bro. Like it's crazy. I still have them files there. I can't open them anywhere.
Crazy.
But the files are on a USB stick. I designed our hats, sketches, and used Paint like to design them. I remember when I sent it to the manufacturer in China. Like already communications a barrier. I've now sent them a bunch of paint files. And everything. Bro, what's this going on? But they managed to execute the vision like perfectly. It was amazing to what we did, and I think the inspiration of a lot of our hats and designs came from at the time. D squared hats were really popping.
Okay, so they were caps.
Baseball caps, yeah, baseball caps. So there was 3 different styles. There was like a green one, all black one, a black and white. I only used to wear the all black because you know that's
your thing.
Innit? So yeah. So what we learned was like definitely like we learned stuff like how to deal with manufacturers. We learned of how to like, you know, the different side of business is that important, because you know you got the creative side, but you also got marketing, you got logistics, you got someone has to deal with each things, and especially in a team dynamic, it's so easy for everyone to want to do the same thing. Everyone wants to want to create, but then it's like, okay, we have to give the creative, and that's kind of where Code Nation like didn't work, because you all wanted to create. My best friends now, they're musicians. Like we're all creators in our own way. So we all wanted to create designs, but then other sides of the business, you know, okay, who's dealing with the finance? Who's going to be chatting to the manufacturers? Who's going to be dealing logistics and operations? Like who's going to be when the stock is coming in? Who's going to be clearing from customs? And it's just sitting in customs because we're all focusing on what's the next design. So we learned about, I think for myself, I learned definitely about like how to manage a team within business, and not fully learned, but it opened my eyes to it. But it also opened my eyes to just really opened my eyes to how much I really love to design. Not just to be a wearer of clothes, but that's the first time I started to design my own clothes. And that's why my Gosse Au Coeur came about. Yeah.
And so this was April 2017. when
April
Gosse Au Coeur came about.
2017. Yeah.
Okay, and then
So-
talk me through that, because I'm so intrigued
Yeah.
to hear about the name, because
Yeah.
I think the name is so. That's one of the things that stood out to me when I first came
Yeah.
across it as well. Obviously, I didn't know what it meant, but it just sounded sick.
Okay,
I didn't really
okay.
know how to pronounce
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
but
bro.
whatever I was saying in my head sounded
I feel
wavy.
you.
So yeah, what was it like when
So-
you first started that?
When it's so for myself, it's like I believed the same way of Code Nation. The messaging was very about personal. I believe in designing with purpose. That's just my thing. Like when you design, it has to be purposeful. It has to have some meaning. So with Code Nation, like I said, it was incognito. No one knew who was behind it. I would have wanted the brand Gosse Au Coeur to be a namesake, but I also wanted to. I didn't want to be the face of the brand. I wouldn't have done this in 2017. I wouldn't have come and said I'm the person designing. So the message Gosse Au Coeur, it stands for kid at heart. That's the way it means in French. Is a sentiment that I said it's not going to be a namesake, but I want it to resonate with me. It's one thing that people used to say about me as like my person, my character. Oh, you're very youthful. You have like a bubbly. You said at the start, like,
Yeah, literally.
You're like eccentric, electric kind of characteristic. Like by the way, I was actually an introvert, but these were people that coming from me that were like they knew me, because put me in a room, quiet. People around me like, rah, like this guy's got energy. So I wanted it to be about me without it being about me. Like,
Yeah.
And I knew with the name, the meaning of the name, it's not one thing that relates to you is going to relate to a whole lot of people. So Gosse Au Coeur was something that the idea came from looking at myself and what people said about me. And originally it was going to be called Kid at Heart, English. And I said, you know what? I remember the first thing I said, this is a passion project. I'm going to sell these pieces like they're art. I'm going to value it at like £150 a t-shirt. I think at the point I said £200 a t-shirt, but then I dropped to 150. And then the reason it wasn't French because I always romanticized Paris.
Why?
Fashion capital. To me, is like that is the capital of fashion. Like to me, it's like that's when I looked at brands, when I looked at Fashion Week, I've always said Paris. Paris is where I want
Look
to
at
be.
Paris as like the pinnacle.
For me, that's the place. So it was in French, not because I don't speak French. I remember when I was in uni, I went to go and do like side studies, studying French. It didn't work because I had too many deadlines and stuff, so I was just missing classes. But yeah, the name in French came from that. It came from, first the brand meaning came from a sentiment that resonated with me, and then it was in French because I romanticized the city, in Paris is something I always resonated with, like luxury, higher end, and just fashion in general. So I didn't want to put like, Gosse Au Coeur luxury, like, or Kid at Heart luxury clothing. I said, no, the meaning behind it is gonna
Embody luxury.
And I feel like something that is personal is priceless. So it's like being a kid at heart, being youthful. It's about being childlike, not childish. It's like these are like characteristics that to me is like it's priceless. So that's the real luxury for me. So that's where the meaning of the brand came from. Yeah.
And I love the explanation, because you gave it so many layers as to why it has so much meaning to you, in terms of the fact that when you're growing up, people said, you know what I mean, he's a kid at heart, do you know what I'm saying? Like he's got that energy. But I think there's another layer to it, and it kind of alludes to what we were speaking about before, in terms of your journey of coming from a Ghanaian background or whatever, and it's like your parents want you to dress a certain way, as all our parents kind of wanted us to, but you always kind of wanted to be an individual. The fact you said when you was younger, whatever, let's say 8, 9, and your mum can't tell you what to. I got a twin, and my mum was dressing us the same till we was like 12. You get
my mum tried that, bro. She tried like she'll put me in navy, my brother in black, or vice versa. But yeah, man, I had to switch up.
But you kind of stuck with your individuality, and for me, young kids have that as well.
Yes.
Even though they can't necessarily control what everything they do naturally, because of they can't literally, but they all just do whatever they want. Exactly. They're all individuals, you know what I'm saying? So I love how, for me, the name cast kind of also has that layer as well. And again, the luxury element you spoke of. Naturally, when I first came across the brand, I hadn't heard of it before. So all of it was new to me. But immediately as I saw the name, I kind of knew what it was going to be or what it was meant to be. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think you did very well at like picking the brand name, and also the way you crafted the aesthetic, because that's another thing that stood out. It was definitely like a luxury aesthetic, and I feel like it was the perfect luxury streetwear aesthetic as well. Enough luxury, but with enough grittiness as well to be streetwear as well, innit?
I appreciate it, and I feel like that is like, to me, is just embodies my characteristic in a sense. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not a street guy or nothing, but you know, I moved from East London, where you know, well, it's not East London. It's not the. I was never on the street or hood person, but it's like you have a certain when you lived in. I feel like when you live in London, you have a certain characteristic about yourself. And I moved to Essex, which is like, you know, the only way is Essex. You know, the luxury kind of living and kind of thing. And I feel like that even perfectly embodies my character or just my aesthetic. Is like, you know, it's like luxury or just put together with a little bit of grittiness, because sometimes when people see me, like, okay, cool, but when I speak, like, oh right, just he's
bro,
random.
that's how I thought.
He's random, you know what I'm saying?
From
Like,
Instagram pictures and that, I thought, wow, I thought, not to say he's not man there,
Yeah,
but like, I just didn't expect this.
yeah, exactly. So people like, it's like the aesthetic is there because I care about that, you know. For me, it's like that's the aesthetic that I love, I look to. But it's like, even again, a conversation I had yesterday, I was saying a lot of people will say to me, a lot of people say to you, oh Ben, like you're so. Like you're the best dresser, and I say to not even me trying to be humble. I'm saying I'm not the best dresser. I just understand my aesthetic. I know what suits me. I have my own personal style. I have guys that can drip, bro. Like I know, like I'm not talking like, oh, they're just wearing design. No, they have style, bro. And I'll say, yo, you dress hard. I just wear black, bro. Like I just know what suits me, innit? So yeah, I feel like that in itself just kind of helps me embody myself, and my brand is, you know, trying to make it a reflection of me. It's like meant to be an extension of me, and the clothes are an extension of my wardrobe. Yeah. So I even missed that part. Yeah, like bro, honestly, part of me just not even a part of me like starting the brand was, bro, I just needed some new clothes in my wardrobe, bro. Like, and I couldn't afford to buy stuff at the time. So it's like, I remember at the time, that's when there was a lot of 2017. It was a very, very, what were people wearing at the time? They were wearing like the rock t-shirts, and that was
as in like so the graphic
t-shirts. I just wanted something simple. I just wanted something with a little print, and the only thing I could find was a t-shirt from Tesco, and I have the picture on my phone, which was my reference. It was I think it was like a red or orange top with like yellow or green print. I can't remember. And it was just like something on the back on the chest, something on the back. I said, this is perfect. If this was in black and white, I'll wear this all the time. So that's where the design inspiration came from. So it's literally just an extension of my wardrobe. Yeah. And yeah, my own personal style.
How comes at that point when everybody wanted because I remember those days, the Iron Maiden tees and all of that stuff. I had a few of them sweaters. They were cold though.
Oh, bro, I still got some now.
They were cold.
Yeah, I keep them.
But how comes you were looking for something simple them times?
One of my biggest things, and it's when everyone goes, and I don't do it to be alternative. When everyone goes one way, I'm just intrigued about what's the other way. So when everyone goes loud, I feel, okay, what happens if I go quiet? If everyone's quiet, what happens if I'm loud? Like in terms of my drip or my style. But I guess my normal style anyway is just very simple and clean anyway. But in life in general, like I don't always like to follow a crowd. There's sometimes where I don't mind being part of a crowd. I'm like, oh, you know what, this crowd seems kind of lit, I'll be there. But one person I look to a lot, Pharrell, and he really speaks about individualism. And I've always loved that about him from, you know, when he used to talk about Rich and Middies back in whenever, 06 or something, and bro, he's a video that's popping now. He's always thought about being very individual. And it's something I've really admired about him, and, you know, something about myself that I really like about myself. To be real, like I like to be individual in what I do. So when everyone was wearing the graphic tees, I was just kind of bored of it. Like one of my biggest things, and it's hard because you're trying to make a global fashion brand. It's like I don't like. My biggest nightmare is walking to a room and someone's wearing the same clothes as me. Yeah, biggest nightmare.
Yeah, you're a real fashion.
Yeah, like bro. So I like.
Has that ever happened?
Yeah, and it's just like.
Did you leave?
It's just like, well, I just like as long as I'm just better than them, it's cool. As long as I'm just thinking like I don't like it. Yeah. So I just needed something simple, like, oh, I'll get like a graphic. And reading those back in the day, the Iron Maiden tees or just the Rockstar t-shirts in general. There's only a few places you can get them from. When I was in Leicester, I used to get it from HMV. They used to have like HMV used to have like their section. Let's buy it from there. And I remember that was the first time I bought one. I thought it was cold. I got to a party. And then I see one brother wearing it.
Long day.
I'm no disrespect.
And this was in Leicester, yeah?
Yeah, in the Leicester.
Was it a uni rave?
Uni rave. No disrespect to the brother. He didn't drip it right. So I'm thinking, like, if someone sees me and him, are they gonna think we're the drifters? Hey, I said, nah, this is peak. So I just never really liked the fact that someone wearing the same clothes as me, bro. And I tried to implement that into like even how I do stuff with the brand, and you know, but yeah, man, that's literally where it came from. It's like I just wanted something quiet to my wardrobe, more than just a plain white t-shirt, but something that had a little bit of detail in it. Because I also believe design is. I like the simplicity of design. I like simple designs. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a very simple design, but yeah. Again, sometimes little is the loudest thing in the room, so that's how it came about.
I like that. I can't wait to clip that. Did you hear that, Rash? Little is the that's sick.
Yeah.
You said something really interesting before, a bit back, Benjamin, yeah, where you mentioned price point.
Yes.
So from the jump, you knew you were saying you wanted to sell t-shirts for £2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first came across the brand, I loved it so much, but because it was X time and I just come out of uni, I could not afford it, bro. Yeah. And I was like, damn, like I need that hoodie, but then I see free something. I was like, screaming. So so how comes you knew you wanted to price things at that point? Did you understand like the science or the maths behind pricing?
You know what it was like? As much as in my first year of uni, bro, I came to uni in Balenciagas, Giuseppe's.
They thought it was an international.
They thought I was an international.
Yeah.
I came with the Kenzo. I came with this. At the time, I had the Michael Kors watch, and I just loved the drip, bro. I loved it, and I was working in John Lewis as well. So
decent.
Yeah, so I was getting
double pay on Sundays and that.
That was the high end kind of thing. You know, I felt like the man, bro. Like, bro, I'll just be flexing. So it was old crap. With back then, I just used to love the drip. So I knew I've always had a taste for like the luxury things, and that's always been a thing that my parents never understood, because my parents probably can't justify paying a certain amount for a certain amount of clothing or whatever. So, my parents never raised me that way. It's just how I have, that's nurture. It's just about how I've like the stuff that I've fallen in love with. I love luxury stuff. People don't like to say it. I want a Rolex. I want the luxury houses. I want the big houses. That's just me, innit? So I've always loved that stuff. So me wearing those clothes, me wearing those clothes and being in love with it, was like, you know what? I want my own wardrobe, and I want it to be luxury clothing. I don't want it to just be like, just any accessible price. Not accessible. I don't want it to be like high street level. So I said, I want like something that is gonna make me feel like I'm wearing luxury clothing. So I'm gonna work on a piece of clothing that feels like it, even better than what I was currently wearing beforehand. Because some of these back then, there were certain brands that had the higher price point but not the best quality. So
still is, to be fair.
Still is, yeah. So one thing about my brand, I work on quality. So the price point came from me just valuing. First, it was my value of how I saw myself as a designer. I said, you know what? When I'm making something, you have intellectual property. This is my designs. How much should I value that? And then the value of the clothing. And then I was like, you know what? That's my price point. And that's how it came about. So I hear that all the time. Like, people love the brand, and they love, and we'll get into, I'm sure we'll get into it later on, but people like love the brand and they love the clothing. But one factor, has been price point, especially when it's an online business. You can't gauge the quality of my clothing through images, but you can see the quality of the branding, but you can't see the quality of the clothing. And people need a certain amount of justification before they make that move in it. So something I've been working on as like a business owner.
That's sick. Yeah. And speaking of that, I think you made a really good point there, where you was like, how obviously you can't see the quality through a picture. Yes. But I think the way you craft the aesthetic, particularly in the Forever Dreaming collection, Forever Daydreaming, sorry, we'll get onto that. Yeah. Particularly in that collection, I feel like you did a great job in showing the quality. You didn't even need to say it. I don't think you really even said it, but like the shoots made it seem as though, this is the models. Yeah. Made it seem as though, this is quality. I didn't even need to feel that. So that was wavy. But how did you also, you made another good point about the intellectual property, plus how you view yourself as a designer and whatnot. Yeah. How did you even know that's kind of what goes into pricing? Like, is this something you found on the internet or just felt?
No, so this is now like where I've kind of had like a change in. I still believe that stuff goes into pricing, but it's not the only thing that goes into pricing. For at that point, it was, like I said, it started off as much as I wanted to start a business, fashion was just a passion. Like, it was something I just loved. It was an extension of my wardrobe. It was just like trying to do stuff. Like, I wanted people to wear it. I want people to have it, but it was just like, really and truly, I want it for myself. I just want to wear something I designed, and I find a lot of pride in that. So with the price point, like there was no like science, there was no like business strategy into it. It was just, call it an emotional decision to price my point like that. It wasn't strategic. It wasn't logical. It was just, it was more emotional than logical. To price my points, make that my price point. And also, I wanted the brand to be seen in a certain way, in a certain realm. I didn't want it to just drop it in, like I said, on like a high street level. I wanted it to be more than that. I wanted it to be in like, you know, in conversation with certain brands. At the time, it was Off-White, it was Fear of God, it was Amiri, it was Rude when he was starting out. Like, these were brands that I was looking at when they were just on the come up. You know what I mean? And it was like no one really knew about them. Because I was doing research, I had heard about them, and I said, you know what? I admire what they're doing in America. I also didn't know of any brands in the UK. Trapstar started at that, and I really loved that. I really loved how Trapstar started, but they changed business model. Everyone, as they rightly could have.
When you say Trapstar started like that, are you alluding to like how they had the red line jackets and all that stuff?
Yeah, like, I remember because when Lancey Foe was modeling for them, because that's how I came about them. Because Lancey, he was an artist at the time. He wasn't making music, but I remember he just had a very distinct look.
He did,
and I just thought it still does. You know what I mean? It's like something I came across, and I had seen like the likes of Rihanna and Jay-Z like wearing it. And I bought my first Trapstar piece in what year? 2013. I bought a sweatshirt, and in 2013, paying £75 for a sweatshirt is premium. Like, bro, like that's crazy.
Yep.
So I remember at the time when the website had jackets for like £6, bro. They had like crazy stuff. I said, wow, this is amazing. I thought that was sick. I couldn't buy the £6 jacket, but I purchased a £70 hoodie. I own a £70 sweatshirt. I still have it to this day, bro. I'll never get rid of it. Like, never. I loved it so much. And yeah, to me, that was like, that's just what I saw, and that's what I liked. I said, oh, this stood out to me compared to everything else that's there. This gave something different, and to me, it was just the fact that it was just priced so highly, but then when it came, the quality was also amazing. So I said, it's like, wow,
it's worth it.
Good. It's worth it. It's worth it. But what made me move to buy it was the fact that I saw it on certain people, and that's where, you know, when you think about from a business point of view, how buying behavior is like why people make certain moves to buy certain things. A lot of people buy because they've seen it and on someone else, and they like it because they've seen it on someone else. It gives them it has a level of social proof. It's socially accepted, and that's why I bought Trapstar at the time, because I saw on Jay-Z, Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and all them people there.
Fly people.
So that's why I made a move, and I feel like when I priced my stuff, it wasn't considering all these things. So that's why I say it was a very emotional decision. It wasn't logical, because if it was logical, I would have probably priced it something that was still in that premium bracket, but just a little bit more accessible, so that I feel like there's a little bit of a leeway between when someone's trying to make a move and when someone's going to buy something and when they decide not to because of the price point. There's like a little gap where you can fit in. And for myself, it's like, yeah, 150, this sounds premium. Sounds good. I done research into like when Off-White first started, when Rude first started, what they charged. I was like, you know what, £150, good price. And then
that's
it is what it is.
It's so good that you're that self-aware that you've learnt from that, though.
Yeah.
Because you know some people can be too stubborn and be like, nope, it's this. Stay in this forever. Don't care what you think.
Crazy.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, we're going through some changes in like the brand, because like we said, we like last 2022 we done like a lot of like research. We done a whole campaign based on research. We wanted to hear from our customers. We wanted to hear from potential buyers what they love about the brand, what they get up to, and we built a customer profile. Like, I really stepped into my business bag, because it's not just a passion project as I kept referring to it. It's now a business, and this business is generating income. It needs to. I want the message as well of the brand to spread worldwide. You know what I'm saying? So I need to give it a chance. I need to hear from the people what they think, and the general like consensus was like, bro, we love the brand. We love it. Whether it was the people that are like, I call them first movers or first adopters. Like they buy stuff because they like it. They don't buy it for social proof. Usually those are the real trendsetters. We see a lot of influencers, but there's a group of people behind that are not really on social media. Like one of my boys, bro, he's been wearing Gallery Department since like 2019, bro. Like crazy. He doesn't have an Instagram page. You know what I'm saying? It's like these are the guys that are like the real trendsetters. And we heard from these people. But you know, even them, you know, when it came to like wanting to purchase something, they said, oh, the price point is a little bit too high. So some people will go and purchase it. But then, you know, the people that I really wanna attract, it's like, oh, is this a little bit too high, and we can't really gauge the quality of it online. We love what you're doing. We love the brand. We love the product. I really want it. But price point, that's been my big question mark. But then I always said, you know what? You have to provide value. You have perceived value. You have value and then perceived value. So I need to like build that perceived value of the brand, but I need to give it a chance.
And that comes with time.
Comes with time, bro. comes with time. So everything I'm doing now is legwork, bro. Legwork, working behind the scenes to build that perceived value, bro. Because, like you said, is for me, it's there. It's there. It definitely is there. I believe in it so much. I know. No, it's like to me, it's not even like a belief. It's like it is there, bro. It's just you have to spread it. It has to be seen, and that's where the value will come from. So yeah, 100%. I'm trying to do things that can make it more seen.
100%. Let's go back to when you first started it, though.
Yes.
And it came to you. Obviously, now this is Benjamin having a brand by himself.
Yeah.
So now you had to do everything yourself: design, manufacturers, all of that stuff. When it came to you making your first collection and whatnot, so was that the archive?
Made for the archive.
Made for the archive collection. What was that process like? What were the challenges? How did you overcome them?
So the business was founded in April 2017. Didn't release our first product until 2019. So 2 years. It wasn't straight 2 years of everyday machine work. I'll be lying if I said that. I'm sure if
you were still studying at this.
I was still studying, and then I went to go and do a master's after. So if I was probably studying every single day, maybe about a year. But with other commitments, it took some more time. And also procrastination, fear. I'm not gonna act like that's not a thing. Like starting a business and making a leap like that by yourself is a fearful thing. But I was always gonna do it. So with that process was, if I'm going to a luxury end, I'm not just going to charge a premium. I'm going to learn what goes into a premium product. What I started to look at myself and say, what do I care about? I started to literally take my wardrobe apart, literally just okay, why did I buy these pair of jeans rather than the pair of jeans my boy has? I really care about fits and quality of clothing without even realizing this is just me as understanding myself as a consumer. Because once I understand myself as a consumer, I now know what I need to make. So it's okay, cool. So I have to understand, what do I like? What is it? Like I said, the fits, the cuts. I wear a lot of black. I wear a lot of darker colors. Even at that time, I wore more color than I wear now. Now you barely see me in any color. It's really understanding those things that kind of led to where I was today. And I also realized, okay, cool. Again, trying to charge a premium price is not just about the price point. It's about the quality of the clothing. I don't want to be known as one of those brands that, oh yeah, I paid 150 and then they'll end up sending it back. You don't want returns. No one wants your product to be returned. So wants their product to be returned. So I spent that 2 year period studying the craft, studying how it was to build a brand. That Virgil, I know, has only been circulating recently about the thing that Virgil had. And when
you saw that from...
I was using that 2017,
no
2016,
way.
bro. Yeah, I've been using that thing for time. And I plugged people. I used to be like, bro, this thing is here, but people didn't know who Virgil was. So I'd be like, it's probably just a link. I said, nah, trust me, this is the guy, bro. Use his thing. So yeah, where he had I used to study that. I used to use Business of Fashion. They used to have a page where you'd be like, oh, how to start a brand. I'm a big researcher, bro. I love research more than anything. I have a very addictive personality where it comes to okay, cool. If I want to know something, it will itch me if I can't find out where it was made or what something about it. I love seeking knowledge in it. So for me, this is why I saw it as a big project. Starting the brand as a passion project was because I was just studying. I remember in that 2 year period, after when I was doing my masters, I was in London. I used to go to Harrods and Selfridges, bro. I used to, because it was winter, I used to be in my North Face jacket, hood up. And I'll be going through railings, looking at labels. Bro, there'll be enough times the security guard like, excuse me, sir, what are you doing here? But then they got to know me. I'm like, no, I'm just doing research. To this day, I still have it on my iCloud, all pictures of labels and, taking pictures, recording myself, saying to myself, oh, what do I like about this t-shirt here? Talking to myself in store, people thought I was a madman, bro. Especially when you have AirPods in, it's thinking, bro, it's talking to yourself. But I literally used to do that. My fashion school was Selfridges, Harrods, Harvey Nichols, H&M, Primark, because I had to see why the high was so high and why the low was so low. I had to do both. Weekday, that's middle ground, and Weekday is a brand that, bro, I'm not, they have amazing quality clothing. So I used to study these places, bro. That was my fashion school, and that's when I learned about my first t-shirt, why it took me so long to make a t-shirt. Firstly, because I'm a brand new student to this fashion thing, but I realized that, there's craftsmanship. That's one thing I really appreciate. It's I don't just wear a t-shirt that is, I think in Primark they call it stretch slim or something. I wear a nice boxy fit t-shirt. I didn't even know what that was at the time. So even communicating to manufacturers, it was I want to see this. I didn't have the terminology. So I had to learn these things. And that's why that 2 year period took a lot of time. That's why it took me 2 years, because I studied. It was like I did the whole degree by myself, but the degree was in shops, like this, taking pieces, buying stuff, taking them home, studying them, thinking, why? My parents are just thinking, why you always got Selfridges bags? I'm like, Mum, I'm studying. I'm not buying no drip. You see me in the same things, they're confused, bro. Like, but it's the same thing. Like, sometimes I can't lie, sometimes I keep the clothes. Irresponsible of me, but more time it was just like, yeah, like I used to buy them just to study them, bro. It's like I wouldn't even wear them out. I was just like, yeah, this tee has a nice fit, and I used to understand why, like what was so good about it. But it's crazy because now I can look at it and be like, oh, I know why I like this. But back then, I was really trying to dissect myself as a consumer, and that then influenced my design language, like how I was gonna put my stuff across.
Hey, this is what you call research,
bro. Research, I love.
Yeah. This is research.
I love research, fam. It's something that is in me, and I think that skill came from my dad, bro. Honestly, my dad always used to say to me, like, you know, I remember there was even like a time in secondary school. I remember a particular moment. It was like, I came home because I had heard about something, and my dad, like, I heard something. I was like, my dad, my friend told me this. My dad looked at me and he got upset. He's like, I said, what? Like, is this common, you know, this common conversation? He said, have you gone to search if that thing is real or not? I think he already knew it wasn't. He said, have you gone to search? Have you gone to search? You come to tell me this. I said, what? I said, no. Like, he said, always when someone tells you something, interrogate it, or hear it and say, you know what, I'm going to search it and get back to you. So that research element, not in just me, is in my brother and my sister. Like, we all just love, my brother's like, he loves this National Geographic, bro. He's always telling me facts about animals and football and stuff like that. He just loves it, bro. Like, his TikTok is weird, bro. I've seen birds and bees and like animals and that. Like, he just loves it, and like, we just love other stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like that, but we're very open about it. Like, we have conversations about it. Like, oh, bro, did you see this thing on TikTok? Like, as much as we send each other memes and stuff, and like, people, you send me like a video, like a 2-minute video about why leopard stripes are like that, or leopard spots are like that. Like, bro, we just love that stuff. You know, so it's just like, research is just, maybe it's just in our DNA from like, or from my dad. Yeah, like, he really loved that and he pushed that on us.
No, big up Unc.
For real, fam. Big up my dad, fam.
And you know what? Hey, Benjamin, you're saying bare interesting stuff.
Oh, bro, love.
Do you know what? One of the main things that stood out to me about what you said, how you were open about how you started the brand in 2017, but nothing came out until 2019.
Yes.
Because I realized that, because obviously when I'm doing my research into the guest, I'm scrolling through Instagram and that. So I've gone all the way to the bottom, literally. Scrolling. I'm just seeing pictures. I'm seeing logos. I'm waiting. Then I get it. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's out now. During that period where you had started the brand and things weren't coming out, did you ever feel pressure from people to like put stuff out before you were ready?
Yeah. I had pressure, but it was good pressure because I procrastinated. There was fear. That period was me. That was me branding. So that was me. There was I think for about a year of those 2 years, the page was like a meme page. It was like a mood board page. I used to post, like, I think there's probably like a picture of Bart Simpson smoking a cigarette that has the French flag on it. It was like a drawing or something. It was just like, just very, very like youthful images. It's like graffiti. I used to take pictures of them. It was like just images like that. And that was me like branding what Gosse Au Coeur was. Like, what that meant to me of being a child at heart. And in that time, you used to get pressure from people. Oh, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, it looks cool. The page looks cool. Like, what are you planning here? Because I hadn't spoken to anyone about, like, me trying to build a fashion brand. It was literally just dropping cool images, tell people, oh, follow this brand, and I got stuff coming. I feel like, yeah, okay, cool. Because even at this point, people didn't even know I had Coordination. Like, to this day, a lot of people don't even know. Like,
they're finding out now.
They're finding out now, bro. It's incognito, bro. People are like, oh, what's Coordination? Like, it's only my boys and my people that really knew about it. So, yeah, when it came to all that, there was pressure, but it's like, I needed that because, bro, if I didn't do that until this day, I'll probably still be doing all them things. I'll probably still be doing the memes, the procrastinating. Because, bro, that was a big part of my characteristic trait back then. It was like, I used to like procrastinate about, I'll do something, but then I have other priorities. You know, you also have pressure from your parents. Like, go and get a job, make sure you graduate, do that. And that's not only from pressure from my parents. I wanted to do it as well. So, I remember it was a conversation I had with someone, and they said, you know what, Benjamin, if you're gonna do this, just do this. Like, and I remember that conversation. He said, you know, and they actually plugged me with someone. They not only just spoke about it, they helped me. Said, you know what, I know a guy that works in manufacturing, and I'm gonna put you in contact with him, because I feel like you're always talking to me about it. You're always doing this, blah blah blah. But then nothing's happening. So I'm gonna help you. And all they did was they put me in conversation, said, hey, this is the person I want you to meet, blah, blah, blah. And from that day onwards, magic started to
They
happen.
big up that person.
Yeah, real. So like they gave me not just I think this was probably like after a year and a half or more, probably a year. And it's just like, yeah, okay. The way you're speaking, you're now doing over research. Like I know you just love research, but you're doing too much research. There's a point where it's like, when they say like, you got to prepare, but now it's like you're just marinating for too long. Now at this point, just cook the food. Like, there's put in the stove and get it cooked.
Not even hungry no more.
Yeah. There's a point. It's just like, what's going on? So then they actually gave me like a resource, which was like I'm always going to be grateful for. It's just like, yeah, that's what you need, and it was good pressure though. It's something I needed. Like there was just obviously some people like at the start, like, you just dropped it after a week. Oh, when you gonna do
after a week?
Bro, relax, bro. I don't even know what I'm doing. Don't tell me to drop that. But nah, when it got to a certain point, I needed to hear those things. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that pressure. Yeah.
So what was it like when you finally hopped off the porch? You got the stuff out there.
Wow. So I remember I launched my 20. It's crazy. 26 is a significant number to me. I was born on the 26th. The brand was founded on the 26th. My first warehouse was on the 26th. The brand was released on the 26th. By the way, this is nothing.
Ooh, yeah.
This was like not planned. This coincidental. So now the 26th going forward is like something. Like when I see 26, I always think it's a good feeling. Even this year, my 26th year, I said
it's gonna be a big year.
Yeah, they say Kobe year, they say Jordan year. I said 26 is
Benjamin year.
My year, but they need to know it as that. You get me? So 26 is a significant number. So when I first launched, I remember I'd prepped everything. So I've gone to my brother's graduation, my older brother's graduation. On the way home, it was in where were we? It was somewhere in London. We went to a graduation, and I'm like, literally on my Shopify on my phone, just like, okay, this one. So I remember like I've been people have been anticipating this drop because I've been posting stuff. I've been like, I've leaked the T-shirt, kind of like saying the first tee. I've done like a blurry image of the tee, and people are like, oh, this is sick, kind of sick. And I've been wearing the T-shirt, but I haven't released it. So I remember the first time I released the T-shirt, I was wearing it in Paris, and I was the first time I went to Paris. I said, you know what, this is perfect. I have to take a picture in front of the Eiffel wearing the top, and that's when I was like, oh right, like he's designed something, he's got something there. So then I released it, that was in May. I released it in June or July, or July 26th of 2019. That day, be so real on my Shopify. You can see how many people on the website. 200-300 people, one purchase.
Wow.
One purchase. I was like, right, that's mad, like, but it's something I anticipated because I knew that when people saw the price point, they'd be like, what's this guy on? But then I also had a certain level of belief that, the branding I've been doing before, maybe people will get it, but I knew there was so much work to be done. So I wasn't like expecting a sellout on the first date. If it happened, wow, I don't even know if I would have been able to handle that. So certain level, I'm kind of thankful and grateful that the process made me realize there's a lot of work to be done. So yeah, released it. And in July, I don't think I made one sale that day, which was actually from my ex. And then going forward, I think the first proper sale I made was, my boys had bought it within July and November. My peoples had purchased it. But I'm talking my first sale I made that was outside of friends or family was in November.
Wow.
November of 2019. And that was just after I had a little like, GQ magazine done a little write-up for me, and it's like, okay, cool. And then that was like, made me realize people move off social proof. Oh, your brand is now in the higher end. Oh, it's now in GQ. Okay, it must be sick. Go and purchase. And that was like, there's something that needs to be done here, because people move when they see it in certain environments. They move when certain people wear it. They see when it's like it's been written about and was spoken about in a certain light. And that was a big eye-opener to me, because I was thinking, what's the formula? Do I just have to keep posting pictures? Do I have to keep making these memes on social media? And even when that GQ opportunity came about, I didn't even believe in it. I was thinking, this. But then that made me move. I realized, right, there's a certain level of things that need to be done before this happens. And before, you can captivate a sell, especially when you're entering like a higher end. I'm sure if I'd probably entered at like a lower price point,
probably would have sold out.
It would have sold out in seconds, innit? But to me, it was a challenge of, there's a lot of work to be done. So, that's how the release was. Like, I remember that, I was just like, my mom was like, oh, like, to this day, my mom doesn't understand why my t-shirt £150, doesn't understand why anything's anything, because it's just, she doesn't buy clothes in that realm. So he's like, I take advice from certain people with a pinch of salt, because it's like, firstly, my mom's not in our generation. She doesn't understand, but people are buying shoes for like £1,000 and hoodies and jackets for certain like crazy numbers that she would be able to put towards like a whole yard back then. So yeah, she does. Even when I tell her these days, she does understand it. She thinks it's crazy. She thinks our generation. No, she doesn't.
All the older generation.
They think our generation.
Even we think the generation below us.
Oh,
is mad.
we
It's
think
the same thing.
they think we're mad. We think we're mad, and my mum thinks we're as mad in it. But it is what it is in it. Like it's the new generation. This is the way we are. So I just had to, put all that stuff, all that energy, and I take the compliments, I take the critics, I take it all, and I'm like, you know what? I believe in my thing. Like I said, you have to have a level of delusion in my thing, and that's like childlike characteristic. Child is delusional when it comes to a lot of stuff, and that's what I've used to drive me as a creative. But then I'm now into, like I said, the world of being a more mature business person.
So the rationality has to come.
The rationality is coming in. The logical understanding. We're doing research. We're doing all of this. That's where it's coming in. And it's like, yeah, we got to make some moves. And it's my funny enough, it's full circle moment. Is like my boy, well, not even full circle. What's it called? Half circle. But my boy that I had the business with firsthand is now like the first employee of Gosse Au Coeur. He's coming as like the brand director. And he's come in because what he does on his 9-to-5 job, he works with like high-end tech companies or startup tech companies and these multi-million startups, bro. Like, and he's giving them advice on like price points and brand strategy and go-to-market strategy. I said, you know what? He's not the fashion guy. He's not like in our fashion circle. I would say in my friendship circle, he is not one of the most, but he's still like up there in it because as we've gotten older, some people start to get about other stuff. But he is very business savvy, and him coming on has allowed me to focus on creative, but then also help me think more business like minded as well. Because me and him working together, bro, like treacherous twins when it comes to business. Crazy, fam. Yeah. Like when it comes to business, we're working a lot. So he's come on board to help him with all that stuff. So yeah, that is like being part of building the team and growing the business. And yeah, like I said, like making some moves just so we can give the business a chance that it deserves. Yeah,
I'm really excited for you.
Thank you, bro.
We still got more questions. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
this conversation's flowing perfectly. By
thank
the way.
you, bro.
This is lit.
Hey, you're a great interviewer, by the way.
Thank you.
Like the
Thank
questions you're asking is like, by the way, the way I speak like my head is just going left. So you're bringing me back to the point, and I appreciate it because I know how I am, innit? So
yeah, no, you're doing well, though.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I was gonna say, what was your second collection? Because I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah.
Because I'm packaging everything you said.
Yeah.
And the main thing that's standing out to me is how much you learnt in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
And I think thinking about the Forever Daydreaming collection.
Yeah.
Did that come second or
that was third?
That was third.
Second was that hoodie you were speaking about.
Okay.
So that was actually meant to be a much bigger collection. Okay. It was meant to be that hoodie in a t-shirt style as well, and I never released it. One because of that was 2020, March 2020, COVID, bro. It was peak. It was very, very dealing with like Portuguese manufacturing. It was there was other stuff to focus on, but I needed a product out. I needed something out. So I just released, it was a collection, but it was actually a single product. Actually, it came up with, funny enough, it came up with 2 phone wallpapers. And and that was like, that was the full collection. It was like, get a hoodie and 2 phone wallpapers that people can download for free in it. So that was the collection. But yeah, that was called Kids Have Fun. Okay. Kids Have Fun Part 1. Part 2 will come later because that collection needs a proper run.
See, that's why, because that collection was small. That's why I got confused, really.
Okay, yeah.
But for me, the Forever Daydreaming collection, bro, that was like the wow moment for me. Because obviously I'd been following, just, paying attention. Yeah. Where's My TV had started at that point, so I'm still thinking, I'm going to speak to Benjamin one day. But that would probably have been the day where I said, all right, cool, let me put Benjamin on my list. Like, I need to speak to him about this, bro. Because I saw that. And I'm like, this is literally like nothing I've ever seen before. Wow. I'm seeing a picture of some tall model flipping long Adam's apple wearing the hoodie. Wearing the hoodie in a garden, but then the sky's behind him. I'm like, bruv, what is this like? It was so mind-blowing because it was so sick. Yeah. And you know what piece stood out to me the most? You know that like, it was a similar colour to this.
Yeah. Oh, what's it called? The Daydreamers hoodie.
bro.
Yeah.
And then,
It's got a unicorn on it.
bro, you see that emblem though? It reminded me of the Germany kits, and Germany kits are
Swear.
always
Yeah,
wavy,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah.
Always wavy. And I'm like, yo,
Okay.
this looks sick. And then there was the other one, the university thing.
University hoodie.
Yeah.
That
Wavy.
That was, I love that. That's one of my
that
favorite pieces
collection.
this day, bro.
Hey,
Love
bro,
it.
that's one for me. Obviously, I'd hopped up the porch already, but I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this is another level. You get it? Like,
Thank you.
proper sick.
Yeah.
So, what was that collection like?
Wow. So that was, so as much as I've called collection 1, 2 collections, they're like individual. That's like t-shirts, and then 2 t-shirts, same color, different, same design, different colors, and 1 hoodie. Collection 2. This was my first time creating a body of work, which was multiple collections to make a cohesive collection of clothing to make and to also tell a story. So Forever Daydreaming, it was about the whole idea of that is like me, that kind of like dissecting the characteristic of a child at heart. So one thing about child, like I said, is the element of delusion. We're always thinking, always daydreaming about other stuff. So like even the unicorn, a child believes that that is a real thing, and to this day, I question whether that is a real thing or not. Because, bro, we always hear these videos. Like I said, I do random research, got some weird ass videos on social media and everything. People talk about, oh yeah, you know, I seen a mermaid on the water. Like, you know, all these things that people say, like, you know, as a kid you will believe. So the message of Forever Daydreaming was like, okay, first we started off with, okay, what's the message? How do we represent it in clothes? So like the Paris t-shirt was the black t-shirt with like the blue on it. It has a picture of the Champs-Élysées in like a graphical style. That was because I always dreamed of going to Paris. Like I said, I always romanticized that city. So whether or not people would say stuff, oh, Paris, how do you like Paris so much? It's just this gritty day. I said, I've always romanticized it. And to this day, I've been and I come back, I still romanticize it. That's what that was about. The university hoodie was about, I always aspired to go to uni. And one thing I loved about uni was not even studying, bro. It was like when I see kids on like American movies wearing like the Harvard hoodies and stuff. I said, you know what? We're going to make a Gosse Au Coeur University and make it a hoodie. So it's like, they're all about my personal dreams. And then also like, there's a t-shirt called a Suburbia t-shirt. That was a reference to Of Mice and Men, a book that I read in...
George and Lenny.
George and Lenny. So it's like, back then, the American dream was like, you know, moving out to get your own ranch and stuff, but the American dream then shifted to moving out to the suburbs. I call that the Suburbia t-shirt. And they actually called a movie called Suburbia, which I watched because of this collection. I said, you know, I want to understand what that was. It was about a group, funny was, it was a group of like, they called reformed kids that were like bad behaved, but they all, one thing about them, they had dreams of moving out to the suburbs and building a life there. And I said, you know, that's a lot of people's dreams. My parents, might move to a suburb area, to a city area. So yeah, that was like a message of that whole collection about dreaming. And this had some staple pieces in there, like the heart hoodie, just for the branding's sake. But that was the first time, and that was a long process because I started designing that I was going through stuff. Everyone was going through COVID. I was like work. I just started a job in February of 2020. There's other stuff I was going through as well. So that collection probably took me about 6 months to put together, which to me, you know,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it takes some time. It felt like a long process though, based on the fact it was only like a couple pieces. But then it's like, okay, I also want to elevate the brand in terms of, you know, quality and aesthetic and branding. I said I really want to emphasize on it. So, you know, using a professional model, Junior Troy, you know, to give that higher end look. But then the cloud is like, why is there a cloud in the middle of this? Like, to also like, how do you represent the message of Forever Daydreaming? Daydreaming, your head's always in the cloud. Let's get clouds as the backdrop and, you know, present in that way. So it's like, it was mixing like a childlike thing with the higher end, which is the brand is about. It's like missing it, like the real luxury of the brand is actually in the messaging. Like I said, is the individualism of the message. So, you know, the clothing and price point is just another factor, but the real luxury is the brand message. So yeah, Forever Daydreaming, that took about 6 months to put together. First, I remember like speaking and working with my cousins, and like, you know, he's like the guy my cousin that said like he used to help me like my drip and stuff like that. So I remember I designed the first collection. It was just like bare pieces, and it was like, yeah, bro, like that's when I learned about, you know, we started studying collections or studying like Raf Simon collections from like 2002, Raf Simon collections from like 2010, collections from like Virgil, and realizing that, yeah, it's nice to have a body of clothes, but cohesiveness. So those pieces I took out, it's like, yeah, you know what, because it didn't work. I'll use a different font in certain places. It's like, you know what, this whole collection works as one. It's a body. So it's really important why I like present my clothing collections as one, even if my new collection I'm working on is going to be presented as one. But then we may not release the piece at the same time. That's business strategy. That's how like I've developed in that sense. But yeah, it's a message, everything. And it came from just a period in my life where I was just constantly dreaming about better times, dreaming about like, you know, like I said, I'm a big dreamer anyway, bro. Like, my vision board is full of stuff that I can't have right now, but I will touch eventually. But it's like I'm a big dreamer. So and that's an element of a child. So that's where Forever Daydreaming came from.
You did such a great job at getting all those messages across.
Thank you.
And what I love about what you said is that you wanted to elevate the brand to another level. And
Yeah.
I feel like that collection aesthetically did that. Even color-wise.
Yeah.
Because obviously we haven't touched on the fact that you're colorblind.
Yeah.
But I read that in the article that you sent me.
Yeah.
And that you were saying how that made you timid to kind of experiment with certain colors.
Yeah.
So I remember at first, again, I scrolled through the Instagram, I clocked that collection was like a breath of fresh air because all the colors came out of nowhere. So it was like that contrast even subconsciously affected my perception of the brand in a good way. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think you smashed it with that collection,
bro. Like color's scary to me, bro. I was scared of color at that point. Like, I honestly appreciate that because even that hoodie that still stood out to you, bro. To this day, I don't even know what color that is, bro. Like, I just see it as, I remember when I've got like swatches from a manufacturer, I'm sitting there, because me and my brother are both colorblind. My sister isn't. I'm just like, so my sister like helps me when it comes to like picking colors.
So she'll describe it.
She'll describe it. I'm like, okay, she's showing me colors. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I like the way this looks. So let's just use this one. And it's just easier for me. I don't know what color they called it, stone. Stone color. But then people tell me it looks grey. I was thinking I'm looking, bro. To me, it's stone because that's what the swatch said. So that's you know, color's scary to me, but also the same way starting a business was scary to me. So it was just like, you know, it's a challenge. And
can't let fear hold you back.
Yeah, you can't let it hold you back. So I was like, I just had to add something different. But it's weird because at that point I wasn't even wearing color. Actually, no, I was wearing a little bit of color at home, but not when I was stepping out. I was just wearing black. But you know, that collection made me, you know, also I stepped in a place on like my own personal style and I said, you know, I do want to wear some color, so I'm gonna add a bit of color into the collection. So that was like a standout piece because the rest of the collection was black and white, basically. Yeah.
Sick.
Thank you.
Staying on the theme of dreams, you've done something that's a dream of mine.
Oh wow.
You met Ozwald Boateng.
Yes.
Why am I saying his name?
Hey, bro, man.
Hey, I might have to clip that because if my mom sees that.
Hey, bro, man. That's why they be saying it. It's also, you know.
Oswald Boateng
Yes.
is Ghanaian.
Yeah.
So you met Oswald Boateng.
Yeah.
And obviously you got to intern for him.
Yeah.
So congrats on that.
Thank you, bro.
Sick. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of him. I watched A Man's Story and that was like one of the best things I've ever seen. Ever. Like, my man is a superstar, bro. I'm like, yo,
amazing.
Different. So yeah, what was that experience like? How did it come about? What did you learn? Tell me everything.
So Feb 2021, he done his first show back in London. Was it Feb or March? Feb 2021, and I'm like in some mailing group thing, and like, people just throw opportunities in there. It's called the guest list. I'm not sure if you.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, so the people just throw opportunities, and someone said, "Oh, need a runner for Ozwald Boateng's London show." And I remember I was this is on a Sunday. They've thrown it in, and the show was on a Monday. I'm meant to be working, bro. I literally just messaged my manager saying, "I'm so sorry, but I can't work tomorrow because I'm doing the show." They're like,
you kept it so real. You didn't even fake sick.
But I kept it real, fam. When the people I work with, they're lovely,
They're
and
cool,
they're like, yeah, and they believe in man what I do. So yeah, they're like, yeah, that's fine. You know, go enjoy yourself. So I went there I went there. I knew it was going to be a star-studded show. I couldn't care less, bro. I just went there for firstly to learn, to be. That's the first time I've ever been in an environment like that. Like, in fact, that year I had been to one fashion show, Alawalia.
Yeah, Priya.
I went to Priya's show. I was invited by a friend. He took me there because he designs her graphics, so he put me as his guest. So that was the first time I had been to Fashion Week in London or anywhere. As you know, sorry, I'd been to a Cold War show, but this is the first time I was invited as like a guest to come and see a show. And then then this opportunity came about with Ozwald, and so I went there, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to see what it's like to run a show, like be behind the scenes of a show, because really and truly, that's what I'm trying to do. And then secondly, it was like, yeah, if I can get an opportunity out of this, amazing. So I just went there, worked my ass off, bro. I've never, like, that was a long day. I think we got there at and it was a big collection, a very big collection. There's a lot of pressure because, as every designer will probably feel as they're gonna release a collection, there's a lot of pressure, high pressure situation. But my man was the coolest man in the room, bro. Like, he's just, obviously he has his team of people in here, they're working hard, but he's just like, man, this looked like he was going to a MacD's or something. Like, no pressure whatsoever. I was thinking, wow, like, and I didn't speak to him at the show. I didn't speak to him until like the very end, before like all the media people got there. I just had a little word with him, and I remember my dad said to me, he said, when you see this guy, don't call him Ozwald Boateng, call him uncle. So I said, uncle. He looked, I said, oh. He said, hi, how are you? I said, yeah, no, pleasure to meet you. I had to call you uncle because it was an instruction from my dad, and it just feels right. He's like, yeah, thank you so much for helping out. It was amazing, and just enjoy yourself, enjoy the moment. I was like, yeah. And then even as I'm there, like I'm helping out, I'm dressing like these celebrities. I'm putting them in their outfits. I'm just like soaking in the environment. Like there's one video of another guy that was there. He just recorded me, and bro, I'm literally like looking around like I'm in a kid's school. I'm there. I couldn't believe it.
Child that heart.
Yeah, I was thinking, raw, like I'm just loving the whole thing, like soaking in the experience. And then I spoke to his head designer, and at the time, because I was working closely at the day, because I was like one of the most out of all the runners or the helpers, I was like the oldest there. A lot of them were like out of fashion school, and I was just like a guy that does fashion kind of thing. So like they kind of put me in like more other places. Like, oh yeah, you can tell that he knows what he's doing. These other runners didn't even know who he was, bro. They were sent there for their fashion school.
Blasphemy. I would have kicked him out.
I couldn't believe it, bro. I said, how do you not know who this man is? Anyway, his ways. Yeah, so like they could tell that I had some knowledge of who he was and the brand. So like, oh yeah, okay, so you can help out with it. Not styling, but the dressing, the more important looks. And in that sense, there was like this one picture on my Instagram, and it's like literally Ozwald is picking shoes, and I'm like, firstly, I know they're asking me to pick some shoes for some model. Then Ozwald, he comes, I can feel him on my right shoulder. I don't look. I just took my phone. I said, yo, get this picture now. Get this picture now. And it's like, we're both, and he's like instructing me, oh, can you just lay these shoes out and show me? And we're like, he's asking me, oh, what do you think of the shoe? But it's like the team discussion, and it was like, rah. That was like the first proper even though I had said hello to him, I felt like, rah, this is crazy.
He asked for
bro.
my opinion.
He asked for my opinion, bro. I was thinking, like, rah, like I'm just, you don't even know me for it. I'm not part of your team. And then yeah, it was just crazy, like, and then yeah, like his team really liked me. They just said, and I said to them, I'll be real. I came here, I want to show my work ethic, and I want to show you like what I'm about, and I want to learn from you lot. Like I really want to learn. I showed them about my brand. They said, yeah. Like you really shown yourself today. We really loved you. Thanks for coming. Just send us your email. Yeah, send that email. Probably like 2-3 months later, they said, oh, you know what? An opportunity's come around to intern in our studio. Do you want to come on? And I went for a trial day. They said, yeah, you can be here. And I was there for 3 months. 3 months working there, and it was amazing, bro. I learned so much from them. Again, that guy, the level of detail, hearing that man speak, by the way, bro, like. Is someone that is sure of themselves and knows what they're doing, and he speaks with so much sense. This logic, wisdom, you can just hear in his voice. That I remember the first time they just released this. He designed the new British Airways.
Yeah,
bro.
Wavy.
I was there for a meeting. I think it was like I'm just doing my own design, and I just heard a meeting. This is the first time I had like heard him speak in person, and like. He's literally presenting his ideas to these people, or like his team's ideas to these people. I said, I want to be able to speak like that. Firstly, he can speak, like he's a well-spoken man. But then like also the confidence, and he's saying about when I done this and when I done that. And I said, yeah, not in no prideful way, by the way. He's so like he's a very humble person, but he's very, very sure of himself. Of I know what I am. He takes a lot of pride in the fact that he's on Savile Row. Like, bro, that's
huge thing, bro.
Huge thing, bro. So yeah.
Is he the first black male designer on Savile Row?
Yes, and I think he's the only independent. Don't quote me at this, but I believe he's the only independently owned, or one of the only. I think there's 2, and he is one of them of the only independent. All of them are owned by like millionaire companies or like conglomerates or something, but he's like one of the only brands or businesses on that were owned by still owned by himself. So in that self, that's something to take a lot of pride in. But even so, he's just a humble, just a calm. I just saw him as like an uncle. I just saw him as he's an uncle. Like I didn't really interact with him a lot because I worked with his team. He was out here like doing trips because he does a lot of speaking as well.
Yep.
I think he does like TED Talks and all this other stuff. So he was always traveling around. He's a very busy person. You can just tell. But like even when the interactions were there, it's like always asking how am I doing and blah, blah, blah. Just a nice environment to be around. But 3 months. It was meant to be 6, but I ended up doing 3 because I felt like I had learned a certain amount and I was cool with what I learned. And it got to a point where I felt like, you know what, work was becoming more demanding, other areas becoming more. I had to just had to leave it. But no, it was a great opportunity, man. Just being in like a working under something like that is something that I had always dreamed about. By the way, it's on my like not for him. It's like to do something, an opportunity like that. So it was always like to have an internship and to learn because I didn't go to fashion school. I said this was my fashion school, and a lot of people found this. We're like, how did you get this opportunity? You didn't go to fashion school. I said, look, I just had to pray about it. I networked my way to it, and
you worked for it, bro.
I worked for it, bro. Like you just got like hard work. What do they say? Is it hard work beats talent, bro.
Talent.
Like so it's like what's the quote? Hard work
beats talent when talent doesn't work.
Yeah, when talent doesn't work. So I was like, I just worked hard for that opportunity. I made sure that I positioned myself right. And then I got it, and I was like, I soaked a lot from it. Like the internship was great, hard work. I think I was there like 3 days a week or something like that. But it was hard work. But I learned so much, and I'm grateful for it, man. Honestly.
I can tell, man.
Yeah,
I can tell. Honestly, Benjamin, like having this conversation has made me so excited for you because I was already excited from just seeing the brand, bro. But obviously, I didn't know you. Had never had like a proper in-person conversation. But now that I've met you and I've heard all the research that's gone in to everything you've done, the fact that you've overcome fears, the fact that your brand has such a deep personal connection to you, like, bro, you're limitless, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you, bro.
And as you were talking, it was just making me deep the fact that, bro, the face of fashion is changing so much, and I love it. Cause, bro, you're Mandan, bro. You get it? You're normal. Bro, you get what I'm saying? You're normal guy, bro. Yeah. And the way you was talking and the things you're saying and the things I know you want to go on and achieve, like once you're there, you're still gonna be this person.
Bro,
and
I have to, man.
we haven't had these faces for a long time, bro. So ever. Yeah. You get it? So like, bro, big up you, man. Honestly, Benjamin, like for real, big up you, bro.
I think I posted something on my story the other day. Like authenticity wins.
It does.
Like, you gotta be your authentic self. Like. I'm not gonna lie, I code switch. I work so
naturally as we all have to.
Code switch, but I still believe in like as much as I code switch, I need to bring my natural self. I find it hard to dilute that. Facts. I have to just bring it out, like whether it's the way I speak or like I don't speak like slang or I feel like I speak alright, but it's like well spoken but it's like. If I have to say something a certain way to get my point across,
you have to say it a certain way.
I have to say a certain way to get my point across. It's like, I'm not going to go and look in the dictionary. Oh, what's the proper way to say this? Like, I'm going to, this is how I say it. You get me? And I'm also open to learning like, okay, what's the right way to say it? But to get my point across, I had to say it like this. So, bro, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Like that means a lot to me, man. Like you said, the face of fashion is changing.
It is, bro. And
I'm hoping,
You'll be one of them faces, bro.
Amen.
In Jesus' name, bro.
Amen.
But we're gonna start rounding off. Again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Mine,
before I ask my last question, what can we expect to see from Gosse Au Coeur and from Benjamin?
Yeah, so this very soon my new collection is dropping. It's gonna be collection 4. It's titled Life is Beautiful. This is actually a sample piece from
sick. It's wavy, by the way.
Thank you, bro. Sample piece
wavy,
from the this one's actually not coming out. I made a little change to it. Like this, a variation of this coming out. Yeah,
Life is Beautiful. I'm trying to see I see a horse. Oh, unicorn again.
Yeah, unicorn.
Love unicorns, boy.
Well, unicorn. The center of the brand is of this collection. Sorry, like as I told you, Forever Daydreaming is Life is Beautiful is looking at life from a different point of view. The images on here is actually a Rolls Royce. There's a picture I use a lot on through like Gosse Au Coeur because it explains the brand through the picture for me. It's a Rolls Royce on fire. That's like to me is like luxury on fire. To me, that defines like streetwear or high end streetwear. But the images just look so Like to me, I've love it, bro. It was my first business. I hadn't even got it on me. My first business card had that image on it, and I always put Gosse Au Coeur over it. It's got a unicorn. It's got John Lennon, which says "People for Peace," and there's this picture here. It's a picture of it's an image that I found. It was like but then I edited it up a bit. It was kids looking at a tree, but then for some reason when you make it into black and white, it looks like they're looking like like a mushroom cloud.
So like a nuke type.
Like a nuke type, and it's like, bro, like life is beautiful. Is like perspective, because the meaning of the message actually came from like, or the collection came from like a place, a down point for me. But then it's like change my perspective of life. It's like regardless, life is a beautiful thing. It's like that. It's like the statement is actually like regardless, life is beautiful. That's like the full statement. But it's like regardless, life is beautiful. It's like you can go through whatever. Like things are going on in the world that no one wants to see. But regardless, this is life has been given to us. Is a beautiful thing. So it's like taking the darker sides of things and then having a new perspective in it. That's what the collection's about. So like this collection, you'll see, is like in a lot of the prints are in black and white, because I've actually gone back to what I love the best, the simplicity of like black and white, and again being colorblind. And then also the messaging as well is like, yeah, that's literally what it's about. It's about changing perspective, and it links to the childlike element, because kids see the good in everything. Like
they do.
I've seen a picture. There was a few like times I've seen pictures of like a kid and holding like a hand of like of someone that a lot of people would be fearful of. Why? Because they don't know the difference between right and wrong. They just have a sense of naivety to them, which is wrong. Like you could say, like as you grow, you lose that side because you build logic. But it's like that side is very important. I think for humanity, bro, we need to like just appreciate the beautiful things in life. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. But that's what it's about in it. So it's like the whole sentiment of the brand and the lookbook, and as we're trying to as we're putting that together now, it's just to represent that message and the collection. So that's what you should expect from the brand.
I can't wait to see how that manifests for the pop-up shop.
Yeah. So we're doing a showroom, and a pop-up will happen eventually. But the first thing we're going to do is a showroom, again, to curate that story, curate that message, so people know what, like I want to create an experience. I want the brand to be a brand that creates experiences for people, because Gosse Au Coeur is more than clothing, like to me, and that's one thing I've learned over the years. It's like it could be more than clothing. It's a community. It's a sentiment and a message that relates to so many people. I want it to be more than clothing. So, I want to create experiences, stuff I like. I love going to art exhibitions. I want to be able to create that kind of stuff. So that's what we should hopefully expect from the showroom, by me trying to create a message as best as I can. And then going forward for myself, bro, honestly, it's just work, bruv. Work. Last year, being honest, bro, like it wasn't I worked a lot behind the scenes. Now, I want to work more in front of the scenes. I don't mind making mistakes in public, like not like terrible mistakes, but it's like I don't mind like I'm wearing this. This is not even a final finished piece. I said, you know what? It's still my creation. I still love it. It's just not something that I'm gonna release in this form. It's gonna release in something slightly different. So yeah, you expect more activity from me, more consistency, God willing. As I as I've matured more as a business person, as a creative, from my last collection to now, this my process is I'm finding my process. So hopefully there'll be a quicker turnaround from like collections, and just keep going, man, because I love this. Like, bro, I love this, bro. I really love it. So
I can feel it, bro.
Yeah, man. I really want to show people how much I love it. Because yeah, man, I feel like I can tell some stories, and fashion is just my medium. It's just my medium of how I decide to create. People create in other ways. Other people work in fashion in so many different ways. Fashion is my medium, and I want to do so much more. I want to do stuff outside of fashion because it's like my interest where they lie. But God willing, those things will come in the years to come. But I guess like immediate future, new collection, just more consistency for me, yeah, man.
Yeah, more Benjamin.
Come on, man.
Yeah, because this is your year, bro.
26, you know what I'm saying?
Year.
That's the year.
So, last question is, what would be your one piece of advice to the next generation of upcoming designers, people that want to get into fashion? Whatever.
It may sound a bit like, okay, let me think. I don't want to think of something that's so cliche, like, believe in yourself. I think I would give that advice to everyone. I think my one piece of advice that I would give, and it's something that, because I've realized in the last 6 months, is people that want to get into fashion, start a business. In fact, if you want to start a fashion business, styling business, whatever it is, podcasting, fashion, understand the business side of it. Understand the business, because a lot of people do stuff because of passion, and that's amazing. I started this because of passion, but passion does not pay the bills.
Oh, big facts.
Does not pay the bills.
Tell us about it, Rash.
Doesn't pay the bills. So it's one of them ones where I'll say, please, like for myself, as I guess my love for business came just before I realized my love for fashion. Like I always had it, but I didn't realize it. But understanding that business is more important. I remember when I was doing that course in business of fashion, they said it then, and I still have those notes there. And I even wrote, understand the business side. So I say this in music. I say this to my boys in music. I say this to my people in fashion. Understand the business side, and then enjoy it. Enjoy what you do, because it will show if you don't. But it also show very well if you do. You can tell the people that are like doing amazing things, they're enjoying what they do. So I just really want to enjoy it, and learn, continue learning. That's like 3 pieces of advice. But so,
Yeah. I like
learn.
more. I always say one, but I like more.
And then learn, like continue learning. Like I said, I'm a researcher. I love to learn. So keep that student element inside you. Like always, don't feel like you know it all. Always be willing to learn something new, because for myself is, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be open to change and certain things, and you know, like have that student fire within you, not like formal education, but like research and do that stuff. Yeah,
Benjamin, thank you so much,
brother.
bro. This was a fantastic conversation.
Nah, bro, likewise, man. Like I said, you're a great interviewer,
Thank you.
And honestly, this platform, bro, like I said, I seen it. I said, this is dope. This is dope. So you're gonna do great things, bigger things.
God willing, bro.
I'm sure we'll continue chopping.
100%, bro. Like I'm locked in, bro. Man's brought into your journey. I can't
yeah.
wait for the showroom. Like, bro, I'm proper excited for you, man. So thank you
so
for
much,
coming
bro.
on the platform. If you just speak to that camera and say where they can find you, like your socials, brand socials.
So find me on Instagram, Benjamin Kyei. That's Benjamin Kyei _ on Instagram, TikTok, to our social media, and then the brand Gosse Au Coeur. See it there. Yeah, find us on all social media. Spelled the same way. Love.
Perfect. And you know where to find us, WMTV_LDN. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as I always say, keep it locked. Thank you for watching another episode of Where's My Podcast. If you ever want to take in future episodes on the go, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Whilst you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. It would really help. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, WMTV_LDN, to keep up to date with the latest goings on in UK fashion. Keep it locked.